Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Eddie D'Souza at the Cool Cat Recording Studio, and you're watching You're the Star. Today in the studio we have Margaret Pascuzzo. Thank you very much for coming in, Margaret.
Thank you for having me, Eddie.
Right on. And Margaret is a children's author. She's written a whole series of books, and so today we're doing something totally different for You're the Star. We're going to get Margaret to read one of her books. But first, Margaret, how long have you been in Quesnel for?
I came to Quesnel in 1964, and I've been here ever since. Yeah.
And when did you start writing?
I always wanted to write, but I worked full-time for the school district. So when I retired in 2004, I decided I was going to go for it. And I did. I played around with it for quite a while, and I stored a few stories and whatever. And in 2007, I self-published my first book.
Well, congratulations on doing that. That's really good.
Thank you.
And so you've always written children's material?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And to date, how many books have you published?
I've self-published 6, and I've got 3 at various stages right now of coming to, an end. Probably by the end of the year, I'll have 9 books out.
9 books, well, that's really good. And somebody does your illustrations for you?
Yes, I have an illustrator, and her name is Judith Bicking. She's a professional artist, and she lives in Asheville, North Carolina. And she has brought my stories, my Anton stories, which is the series, she has brought him to life and done a wonderful job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing some of her artwork. And awards, have you won any awards?
Yes, one of my Anton books, which is Anton Makes a Wish, was a runner-up in the Penticton 2009 short fiction contest. And then Anton Finds a Treasure got an honorable mention at the Hamilton, Ohio 2009 short fiction contest. So I'm quite pleased with that.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's like, I know how hard it is to.
Well, it's a competitive world,
yes,
that's for sure, and to even come close. And they both were open to the world.
The world. Well,
yeah.
Congratulations again.
Yeah.
Now, where are your books available in Quesnel?
Right now, they're available at the Rich Bar Basket Cottage. I've had them in several stores around BC, like Chapters and Indigo and Coles and so forth, but they weren't selling in there, and they were tying up my inventory. So Stephen and I went around town, around BC, and picked up all the books. So right now they're only at Rich Bar
Nursery.
And they're also available on Amazon.
Amazon, okay.
Okay, they're available, and actually they're available in Britain and Europe and the States and Canada through the online stores. Online stores,
okay. We'll put a link right here for that one.
Okay.
Okay, and now birthday parties. You do birthday parties?
Yes, I could, any child between 6 and 9 who's having a party, I'd be willing to go out, and I would read a story, and then the birthday boy or girl would get a signed copy of the book of his or her choice.
Okay, well, let's break away now, and we'll actually listen to one of Margaret's books. Anton Learns a Lesson.
The morning was wet and gloomy as Anton made his way to the kitchen for breakfast. He was not his usual cheerful self. He pushed the cereal around in his bowl. He looked at the milk in his glass. He glanced at the calendar on the wall. One more day, and he would have to face the dentist. He could not bring himself to eat. "Anton, is something wrong?" asked Mom, as she sat down beside him. "You look worried." He began to answer, then he stopped. He looked at his mom, and he could feel his face turning bright red. He looked away, his head dropped down. He said in a low, mumbled voice, "I'm nervous about tomorrow's appointment with the dentist." "You mustn't be nervous, Anton," said Mom, as she put her arm on his shoulder. Dr. Kelly is a fine dentist. He's kind and gentle and enjoys working with children. Besides, if you follow Dr. Kelly's advice, you have nothing to worry about." Anton swallowed hard. He could almost hear Dr. Kelly's voice telling him to eat healthy foods, to drink 2 or 3 glasses of milk a day, and to brush his teeth after every meal. Anton felt guilty. He had not followed Dr. Kelly's instructions in the 3 months since he had seen him. Anton was silent for a minute or two. He fidgeted with his spoon. He pushed his bowl away. Raffles licked his hand, but Anton did not see or feel him. The dog looked up. His sad eyes seemed to say, "I love you no matter what's wrong." Anton was staring into space, thinking about his best friend Bobby Patterson. He and Bobby spent all their spare time together. They swam, skied, and played hockey together, and on weekends they played with Johnny and Stephen in Anton's treehouse. Bobby sat next to Anton during school, recess, and lunch, and he always had lots of great food in his lunch. Things like potato chips, donuts, candies, pop, and it was hard for Anton to say no when Bobby asked to trade one of those goodies for his sandwiches, fruit, or milk. Anton knew it was wrong, but he found it was very hard to resist. Anton's legs felt like a ton of bricks as he made his way to school. He didn't splash through the puddles like he usually did. He wished that he didn't have to go to school. He would have liked to have stayed home and hidden in his room. The bell rang as he made his way up the stairs to his classroom. A few of his classmates spoke to him along the way, but Anton did not answer. It was not a good day for Anton. During silent reading, his book was open on his desk, but the last thing on his mind was a tale about pirates plundering ships in the Caribbean. He spent the time staring into space. The only thing he could think of was tomorrow's visit to Dr. Kelly. Just before lunch, Anton was so startled when Mrs. Richardson called his name that the pencil he was holding dropped to the ground and rolled under Bobby's desk. Mrs. Richardson realized that there was something wrong when Anton didn't bend to pick up the pencil, and she called him to her desk. "Is anything wrong, Anton?" she asked. "If there is, please tell me about it." "I'm nervous about tomorrow's visit to the dentist," sobbed Anton. "You mustn't be upset," she said as she tried to comfort him. "We all go for regular dental checkups. That's how the dentist keeps our teeth healthy." But, Anton sobbed, "I didn't follow Dr. Kelly's instructions. I've eaten a lot of junk food and drunk a lot of pop. Mom will be upset with me if I have any cavities, as she has given me good food in my lunch and I've traded it for things like chips and pop," he said as a tear rolled down his face. "Perhaps you should be a little more careful about what you eat and not trade good food for junk food. Harmful to your teeth," she said as she wiped the tears from his face. "In the meantime, take your work and sit in the quiet corner. It'll soon be lunchtime." Anton was glad when school was over. He went straight to his room and didn't come out until supper was served. "Are you feeling better, Anton?" asked Mom. "Mrs. Richardson called me this afternoon to tell me that you were upset in school and that you didn't finish your work," she added as she placed his supper in front of him. "I'll be happy when my visit to the dentist is over," he answered. "Maybe this time you will follow Dr. Kelly's instructions and not eat foods harmful to your teeth," said Mom, as she tried to comfort him. "As soon as you have finished eating, brush your teeth and do your homework. You have a little catching up to do," she added. Anton struggled through his work, and finally it was time to go to bed. His mind was on tomorrow's appointment. He crawled into bed, and after much tossing and turning, he closed his eyes and fell asleep. Ollie, his favorite teddy bear, lay beside him. The house was silent. Suddenly, something woke Mum, and she sat up quickly in bed. Wake up, she whispered in Dad's ear. I heard a noise, she added. It sounded like a scream. There it is again, added Dad as he reached for his robe. It sounds like it's coming from Anton's room. We must see if he's all right. A second later, they were by Anton's side, picking the bedclothes off the floor and tucking them around him. Mum stroked his hair back from his forehead as she rescued Ollie from under his leg. With his eyes still closed, Anton mumbled, Dad, do I have any left? Any what left? Asked Dad with a puzzled look on his face. Teeth, answered Anton, pointing to his mouth. My teeth jumped out of my mouth as I ran down Reed Street. First they jumped from the front, and when I shut my mouth tight, they jumped out both sides. I tried to gather them up, and I put them in my pocket, but when I touched them, they disappeared. I ran as fast as I could, but when I stopped to rest, I saw myself in the window of the bank, and I screamed. I looked awful. I need a glass of milk. Calm down, dear, said Mum. You've had a bad dream. Your teeth are fine. See for yourself, she said as she led him to the mirror. See, they are all there. Mom, Dad, I'll never trade lunches with Bobby again. I'll eat everything you give me, Mom, and I'll drink all my milk just like I should, sobbed Anton as he checked his mouth. I've learned a lesson. Later, when Mum and Dad had gone back to bed and Anton had finished his glass of warm milk, he snuggled under the covers with Ollie. The last thing the bear heard before he dropped off to sleep was a quiet voice whispering in his ear, I learned a good lesson tonight, Ollie. I'm not afraid to see Dr. Kelly tomorrow. The next day, Anton's dental appointment went well. That night, before he fell asleep, he took one last look at the no-cavity certificate hanging on his wall above his desk. Anton was one lucky little boy.
So Margaret, thank you very much for coming in and reading your book. I'm wishing you the best of luck in all your career moves, and I'm hoping that your career takes off for you.
Thank you very much, Eddie.
Okay,
it was lovely being here.
Okay. And Steve, thanks for coming in, my studio audience. And thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next week.